Hello, Enid High School families. This video is for parents and guardians who have students currently enrolled with Enid High School and doing curriculum virtually through Edgenuity. This is a quick video tutorial on how to log into the family portal and what information you will be seeing in that family portal. You will need to get an activation code from your student's teacher. You can do that via email. And once you get that 4-digit code, you can go to edgenuity.com. Click on Login, Family Login, and you will need to activate your account if you haven't done so already. Just click on Activate Account, put in your email address, whatever you gave the school for communication, and the activation code that you would have obtained from your student's teacher. You also be asked to create a password and to create a security question and answer. The security question and answer is in case you were to forget your password, you would be able to log in or get a different password using that security question. I've already activated an account, so I'm going to go ahead and just log in. This brings us to the family portal. You're welcome to read through any of this that you want to. If you have more than one student enrolled here at Enid High School, you don't need separate accounts, but you will need 2 different activation codes, and you'll have to activate those accounts using the same email address, and then it will put them the 2 accounts together, and you will be able to select from the different students here. So let's look at the progress report. This is going to list all the classes your student is currently enrolled in Edgenuity. If they are taking classes through Google Classroom or through classes here at the high school, they're not going to show up on this dashboard. A couple things to keep in mind with this progress report is we record the actual grade for the class in PowerSchool once a week. That is going to take into consideration the work the student has handed in as well as progress. So if a student has handed in all of their work, their overall grade and their actual grade will be very similar. The overall grade is only considering the work they've handed in. No progress is figured into the overall grade. If a student is behind, however, we can look here. The student is behind on world history. We can see that the actual grade and the overall grade is quite different. That's because for the actual grade, for work that is behind and not handed in yet, there's a 0 in the grade book for that. So if we were to put in grades today for this class, the student would be getting a 60. The quality of work that they have handed in is worth an 85. The other thing to take into consideration when you're looking at this dashboard is progress. So on this particular Algebra 3 class, the amount of class that's completed is 24%. In order to be on track and have completed all the work for today, the student needs to be at 25.33%. So the student is pretty much on track. We don't pay too much attention to relative grade on this report. Relative grade would be if this student stops working today and doesn't do any other work, this is the grade they would receive for the semester. The other thing that you can look at on this dashboard is how the classes are weighted. So on this particular class, quizzes are worth 30%, tests are worth 30%, exams are worth 20%, and assignments are worth 20%. Let's scroll down here a little bit and look at some of these different colors. So in the Spanish 3 class, the student is pretty far behind. The student has completed 18.4% of the class and needs to have completed 25.3% of the class to be on track. So if you look, the quality of work that the student has turned in would be a 61.2%. Since the student is behind, there are several zeros in the grade book for the work that is not turned in yet. And so the grade that would go in PowerSchool if we were to put in grades today would be a 44.6. So there's a few things we can do to help look at why the student happens to be behind on that class. One thing would be to go to the attendance log. The attendance is a log of any time your student has logged in and what they have done while they're logged in. You can change the date if you'd like. Let's go back to the beginning of the semester here and click Save. So this is a log for every time the student has logged in. We can look at the date they logged in, how much time that day they stayed logged in, and then we can break it down even further and say that this student was logged in Algebra 3 for 3 minutes, 42 seconds and didn't get any work done. 2 minutes and 2 seconds worth of idle time was also racked up at this point. Idle time can be any time a student has finished an assignment or an activity and then they don't progress any further in the course. Some idle time is expected, but we shouldn't be seeing huge amounts of idle time. If a student, say, watches a lesson, a video lesson, and they have walked away from the computer and that lesson ends and they remain logged in, that would be racking up idle time. So if you see that your student has an equal amount of idle time to the amount that they have logged in for the day, that's probably a conversation that needs to be had with the student. A student is expected to work about 50 minutes on each class each day in order to stay on track. So this log will help us monitor that a little bit and to make sure the student is on track, or if there's something we need to address with the student. All this information will help us kind of guide the student and give some more suggestions on what they could be doing. You can also see the time this week that the student has logged. So far this student, this is Tuesday, so far this student in 2 days has racked up 7 hours and 11 minutes and completed 24 activities. So that's a very quick walkthrough of the parent portal. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.